Welcome to Strong Personalities. This is your host, Yanni Bear. Today, I have Hannah Linzay. Hannah, thank you so much for making time. I know you got a big competition this weekend. I think a few people have heard about this. It's been around for like 36 years. The Arnold's Women's Classic, right? Are you excited?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Yeah. I feel pretty good. I'm excited about it. I'm ready to go. I fly out tomorrow morning, land about 5 p.m. Thursday. We got some media and rules, and then hit the ground running Friday.
All right. So what goes into that final week of prep for you? Like, what are you packing? What do you like? Do you have like superstitions, traditions? Tell me about this week leading up to a big competition.
So this year I'm doing stuff completely different. Usually like my normal like superstition is I wash all of my gear. I didn't wash it all prep, and usually I wash it beforehand. And I felt just kind of like, you know what? YOLO, let's just do something different. That and just packing everything and anything I can think of. And this week's really just about relaxing, sleeping, carb loading, getting to bed, hydrating, and just getting your mind right, really. It's a big weekend. You put a lot of work and effort into it. You want to make sure that your body feels good, mobility, that kind of thing, and then just kind of recovery and just get ready there for Friday and just throw down.
So you didn't wash any of your stuff this time?
No, I didn't.
I think that's smart because I feel like you wash out all the hard work you've put in. I think that's smart.
And I mean, I had a really good peak. I went to Nashville with Evan and Olga and Adam Dirks and all them, and I had a really good peak. And I felt good with it. I was like, you know what? Like, screw it. We'll just do something different this year and see what happens.
Does anybody go with you?
Yeah, Thomas. Well, now he's my fiance. He proposed a couple weeks ago, so
congrats!
He'll be with me. Yeah.
So, so I know he competes. How does that make a difference for you? Does he help a lot, or does he kind of just stand to the side, let you do your thing?
I mean, he helps a lot, but he's so like hands off. Like, I always want him to be like on the side so like I can have some footage of me and him like together. No, it's like he's off in the back doing his own thing, usually talking to the big guys. Like, just like last year he was like talking with Luke, and I couldn't find my ammonia. And if anybody saw me compete, I'm pretty intense. I'm like yelling like, "Where's my ammonia?" And I couldn't find it because I bring like 6 bottles. And he's like, "It's in your top backpack." And I'm like raging through my backpack, and I'm like, "I can't find it," And he's like, it's over there. Like still just talking to Luke. And then like, I'm like yelling, like tearing my bag apart. And he just comes over and it's like right there. He's like, here you go. He's so calm and like collected. He handles me in stride really well. And I mean, since he competes, he kind of knows like when to come into, when to like lay off, what I need. And, he's with me during my whole prep. So he knows, I mean, it makes the world a difference. I mean, it's super easy, like having him there. Leifa, my coach, will be there. And I mean, we've been working together since 2018, and she knows how I am. She can read me like a book. So she already kind of like is ahead of the game too. So between them two, I don't really have to worry about anything.
Have there been any like close calls that they saved you at the last possible second?
Leifa, one time, like I was getting real riled up about some stuff, and she kind of like had to like fuss me and tell me to calm down a little bit and focus. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it's just, I've been doing this for a while now. So it's kind of like, I kind of know what it is, and we'll talk strategy. And when we're warming up, we'll kind of see how things are, or watch video and warm ups, and kind of like, for example, the deadlift, you choose your own attempt. So it's got to be, you got to be honest with yourself, but then get feedback from your coach and watch your videos and see how it feels, and then take your attempts. And, it's really good to have someone there with you like that versus doing it by yourself. It's just, it's a lot easier. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it because I'm so wound up in the moment that sometimes I might not pay attention to something. So to have people that are grounded and more calm, they can kind of help me in that way.
Yeah, so they allow you to look at the branches while they look at the whole forest, so that way you can get what you like. Yeah, I like that. The calm to your storm. All right, so we got 5 events, Friday and Saturday. So we got elephant bar deadlift. We got the frame carry. Did I read that right? Jack Stone carry?
Yes.
What is that one? I don't know that one.
Okay, so the guys have the Denny stones, and they're
Yes.
doing a walk, a max distance walk. Well, obviously, we can't walk with the Denny's because that would be first really impressive, but B, we wouldn't get far. So these are Jack stones, and they're almost the same setup, except for the ones that we have are the stone, and they're kind of like circular. But then instead of the ring being directly drilled into the stone on the pin, they're suspended by chain. So you're going to have a lot more rotational and
Oof.
movement compared to a pin into a stone. So
Okay.
the weights, God, the weights are here, there, and yonder. Some people say they're 220 a pop. Some people say one's 215, one's 225. Some people say one's 205, one's 225. So we don't really know. We, you know,
Oh,
I,
strong
I
man.
just, yeah. So I mean, whatever. We've just been training. I think, I think we just trained at like 220 a hand, and then we offset it sometimes. Like sometimes we did 210 and 220. Sometimes we did 215 and 225. So I mean, we did a few different ways, but I mean, 10, 15 pounds difference a hand's not that big of a deal, you know? Like the Denny's, it's way more substantial for the guys, the weight difference. So it's a little bit better for us as far as equal weights. But yeah, so that's what we have.
All right. You also have the monster dumbbell and then the
Yeah.
stone medley. If you had to rank those 5 events from like this one's the one I'm most excited to perform in, and then the one I'm the most nervous about, how would you rank them?
Uh Honestly, I'm really excited about the trial by stone. So that's like the stone event at the end. I'm pumped about that. I think that's going to be a strong event for me. I'm really looking forward to the deadlift, even though that's not historically a good event for me. But this year, I've been working really hard on my deadlift. So it's going to be really cool to express and show all the people all the hard work I've put into. I really hope I can get another sick nosebleed. That would be even better.
It does make for a good
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't like that? So, I mean, I'm really pumped about that too. I mean, dumbbell, I'm really pumped about. I mean, I'm really not dreading any of the events. I mean, I like the event spread. They're pretty good for me. Um, the frame is a little bit heavier than last year, so that's going to be a little bit different. I
But don't
think,
you have the world record for like a farmer's carry? So a frame carry.
yeah, but the frame up the ramp is like a whole nother like element,
Yeah.
because it's like, walking just flat is different than walking like up something. Cause it's just like, if you lose your balance or if you grab it wrong, it might dip or drag. And it's just, I don't know. And then just being the experience of being up there. I mean, you're really in this confined space because the ramp obviously has those railings that go all the way around. So there's not much wiggle room. So if you start to go like sideways, you're going to hit it and it's going to like make you probably drop it. So, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just kind of like a different element. But I mean, honestly, like, I'm excited for all of them. I'm not really dreading any of them. So I don't know. I don't know how to rank that. But I mean, I think it's gonna be a good show for me. I really hope it is anyway. I put in a lot of hard work. I've been dealing with some knee issues here and there. So hopefully I can manage the pain and get through that and just kind of put on a good show for everybody. But I'm excited.
All right. So for competitions, kind of like what you were talking about, you were mentioning like pain. What is the what do you how do you talk through each event like in your head? Like what are you telling yourself? Or is it just, all right, this is what you're gonna do, this is what we've practiced, or are you telling yourself to ignore pain? Or what does your inner voice tell you during a competition? What's a
It's
conversation
wild.
with yourself usually look like throughout a competition?
Um like obviously like if I'm warming up, I'm going through the motions, kind of reading like what's happening with my body. We'll look at the warm up videos, kind of assess things, change things here and there. But really, it's wild because when I get out there, it's kind of like white noise. I don't hear anything. I don't really hear the crowd. I don't really know what's going on. It's just like I'm tuned into what I'm doing and I'm focused on what I'm doing. And just when the whistle goes, it's just, I kind of just black out and just go through the repetition motions that I've done at home. And it's wild. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're going to have pain and some stuff. I mean, I'm dealing with issues in my right knee. I don't have any cartilage. It's just bone on bone. So it's kind of a little bit different. But I mean, it's only going to be painful for about 60 seconds. Then you're over. You just got to
Yeah.
deal with it.
Can you gone in 60 seconds, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, it's just you go through the motions like you've done it so many times. It's just repetitious at that point, and just don't change anything unless you have to. But I mean, it's just focus on the task at hand. Be confident in myself. I get really hyped up. Everybody knows that. I'm in my head with, I'm puffing ammonia. I'm trying to take in all the adrenaline and the feedback from the crowd and stuff, and just get hyped up and then just go.
Why do you like ammonia so much?
It honestly, it's almost like I kind of lay off of it all prep, so that's kind of like a reward in a sense. Because like I try not to use it at home, so like whenever I get there, it's just like it opens up my pathways. I feel like I can get really good breaths, and it just like hypes me up, and I just feel like it just amps me up more than not doing it. And I don't know, I love it. Like my mom's always like, you're gonna burn all your brain cells, but it's like whatever.
When I commentate with ADL Live, we have a tradition now where Gabe gets me a fresh bottle of of ammonia. I have to close my eye, and I don't like ammonia. My nose, I've had surgeries on my nose, so it's like extra sensitive. So I just close my eyes, and then there we go. So at this last competition, I did 5 different scents of ammonia by what was it, Skull Smash Ammonia. My favorite one was actually the coffee one. The coffee one was pretty good, actually. There was a coffee one, there was a bourbon one, but anyways, that kicks. Ammonia kicks.
Woo! and it does, and it's just I don't know, I like it. I feel like it just opens up my pathways, and I can just get bigger breaths of oxygen in, and it builds to the hype, and it's just kind of, I don't know, I've been like that since I started Strongman, and not much has changed. I've just done the same thing all over the time.
So have you been intense with every sport you've been in, or was it mostly predominantly like in the lifting sports? Like I know you've done powerlifting as well, or has this always been part of your competitive personality?
It's always been a part of my competitive personality. I was a goalkeeper, and I would talk smack. Like I would just tell people, like, in my box, and then I would crush people. I mean, I was notorious for, God, I've knocked out several people. I broke one girl's tibia and fibia. I broke 2 girls' collarbones. And it was all like clean play. Like it was all clean play for the ball. Like it was just, I wasn't.
Gosh.
Well, it's like I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared. Like if a forward's coming at me and the ball's at their feet, like I'm going to take it off their feet, and I would just take it off their feet. Or if a corner kick would come in, like I would be out 10 yards off my line, and I would just go up with my knee up and grab the ball and come down with it. And as long as you're making a play for the ball, it's fair game. I mean, I never got red carded. I never got yellow carded. It was always fair play.
So you were considered the top goalkeeping recruit in Louisiana, right? At one time?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
And then you were also in the Olympic development program 3 years. Was that specifically for soccer, or was that for,
That was soccer. Yeah. So
sorry, go ahead.
So how that works is basically it's the bottom feeder of the programs to feed up to the Olympic team.
Okay.
So what they do is they break up the United States into regions, and we're in the Southeast region, and you'd make the state team. And then during summer, your states would play each other. And then you would go to the ODP camp, which is like regional. So it actually was in Montevallo, Alabama. Went there for 3 years. And then from there, they pick you, and then you get put on the regional team. Then the regions will play each other. Then from there, they'll pick, and then you go to the national team. So I got picked my last year, but then I got knocked out that same year. And then I had a concussion by like definition, even though I didn't have headaches or anything like that. But they didn't hold me over because they kept the camp for another week, and I couldn't practice for however long. So they didn't hold me over since I had a concussion, and they gave it to the girl underneath me that was from Mississippi. And me and her were friends, and they told me that. They were like, we did pick you, but then when this happened, we had to go to the next person. And that's just how life is. It is what it is. But that's the thing. Like we were playing Florida, and Florida had 2 teams, Florida A and B team, and we were getting spanked, and like spanked. Because Florida A and B team, it was like South and North Florida, and their whole team was all like D1. Like they were freaks. And anyway, girl broke away and it was a one-on-one, and I came out and I got the ball and I, fell over top of it, and her kneecap hit me right on the crown, and I was done. And I was so done that like, and I don't know if you've ever been knocked out, but you can feel everything, you can hear everything, but you
Yep.
can't like do nothing. It's just this weird feeling. And I was so done that they called the ambulance, and I didn't come to until I was on the backboard getting on the rolly cart to be carted into the ambulance. That's how long I was out. Yeah, I was out
Wow.
a while. Yeah. And
So I felt like the concussion thing was accurate.
yeah, well, but that's the thing. Like, it was funny because like I came to, and like the team mom, who was a doctor, was like, do you know who you are? I'm like, yeah, Hannah. And they're like, okay, do you know what day it is? And I'm like, well, I don't know what day it is, but I never know what day it is. And they cracked up. And they were like, well, do you know the score? I said, a lot to nothing. And then they all cracked up, and they were like, she's fine, she's fine. Like, but I mean, it is what it is. But I got knocked out that time, and then when I was college, I think I blacked out twice more. I dove once into the post to save a corner kick, crowned the post, but it was like a quick knockout. And then another time, I think I dove into the post again and had another time. But whatever. I mean, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. So you are headstrong, so that's good.
Yeah, and I'm not scared. I just kept going back. Like one of my coaches, my college coach, was like, I don't know if you're just good, or if you're just so stupid that you're not scared. And I'm just like, well, I'm not scared. And they're like, we know. But I mean,
Yeah.
you got to have that. I mean, you got to have
Yep.
that as a keeper. You got to have that. You got to have that mentality that you can't be scared, because I mean, if you're scared, you don't need to be a keeper. Because
Yep.
there's going to be one-on-one situations and you can't hug your line. You got to go. So
It's there's a fine line between like being brave and stupidity, right? And I feel like to really be successful, you have to ride it constantly.
You gotta have that. And the same thing, like like you gotta have that little bit of crazy that's not scared to do things and to push that envelope as far as you can push it. I mean, that's just. But it's the same thing with strongman, like super heavy farmers or heavy frame or heavy yoke. People are like, well, how come you're so fast? And I'm like, because I ride on the line of really just making it, or eating it and biting it and falling over and dying. You just got to go.
Yeah, you have to like to be successful, especially in strongman, because of like the crazy implements that we do. Like it's not like powerlifting, right? You have those three static events that is just straight up and down, right? Like I was talking to Ken and Mike last week about this, where in strongman, like you have to be able to move like awkward shapes at the same weights that you're trying to move in powerlifting, but like moving them for 50 feet or 60 feet or for 60 seconds versus, 10 seconds tops. So you definitely have to be a little bit crazy for that sport. And obviously that helps you, the way you seem to attack your training, the way you seem to attack competitions. But I'm curious, what do you train your grip strength, or is that something that you've kind of naturally had? Because you seem to be good at grip events.
Yeah, honestly, I've never really had to like train my grip strength. I grew up on a farm.
There it is. Yep.
So I mean, I grew up on a farm. I've always been physical, at home, digging ditches, doing this with, my hands. I've always worked with my hands. And then, now in the steel mill, I'm constantly using tools, wrenches, swinging a sledgehammer, beating in wedges, picking up cylinders. I mean, it's just, I've never had to consistently work on my grip strength. It's always been something that's just kind of been there.
No, I agree, because I also grew up on a farm, and when I started working with my coach, he says like one of the first things he noticed, if it's like a working event, like I'm gonna rock it. Like if it's a sandbag event, if it's a truck pull, for some reason, I love those. But give me a deadlift bar and I'm horrible. But like if it's like a work like blue collar event, let's go. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
So you were talking about you work at the mill. What exactly do you do? Because I saw something cool that I want to ask you about, but I want to hear what your job is, or your career.
I work at Nucor Steel in Decatur, Alabama. We are a sheet mill group, so we make sheet metal. So like coals is wrapped up. So I mean anything for like Like we were casting bars the other day for Tesla. So your cars, uh, HVACs, um, like GE. I mean, they've made like we have steel that's in the border wall. We have steel that's in the trade center, like memorial thing. I mean, anything like sheet metal, that's our group. So like I'm in casting. So Thomas works there as well, and Thomas's
Oh,
brother. The whole family does. So Thomas
family
works.
business.
Yeah. So Thomas works in melt shop. So melt shop takes the scrap, melts it down. So just like a generic melted steel. Then it gets transported, it gets tapped, puts in a ladle, gets transported to the LMF. That's where they put all the alloys. So that's to make the certain grades for certain companies. Then I'm in casting. So we take that melted steel with all the alloys, and then we cast it from liquid, turn it to a solid bar. So then Thomas' brother works in hot mill. So they take that bar and then they basically squash it, flatten it, and lengthen it and coil it up into a coal. And then it goes out the door. So I'm in casting. So like I have 3 different jobs. We rotate kind of like a schedule. So like one of my jobs, I'm up top taking samples, taking temperatures, rotating the ladles in and out, tending to the tundish, which is like the big box of steel. Then another job of mine is I'm on the mold. So we tend to the mold, and that's where we actually like the tundish basically comes down to like a SEN, which is like a little bitty straw that goes into the mold and forms a bar. So I have to monitor a lot of screens, monitor the powder, make sure we're doing everything correctly in order of like tailouts and startups and things of that nature. Then another job of mine is I work the pulpit, which I'm in a room with like 20 screens, and basically I'm like the quarterback for the whole caster because I have the North Strand and the South Strand, and then I'm coordinating phone calls between LMF and the furnaces and hot mill, and then also getting on my radio and telling all the information to all the guys. And like I'm in charge of like grade transitions, and there's certain parameters you have to run the certain still in so you don't crack. So I'm in charge of all that stuff.
So is that what your shirt has to do with, like the
No,
mill monster?
no, this is one
Are you
of
the
my
mill monster?
buddies. No, I mean, I guess I could be, but no. Um, this is one of my buddies, Cam Hadaway. He's in Mississippi, and him and his brother, I can't think of his name. They run some contests out of their feed mill, and all their contests are at their feed mill and inside like this big warehouse, and they call it the Mill Monster Classic. And I go there and I judge, and they do it every year. So it was just a contest shirt that they give me that I wear when I judge for them. So, but
Oh, that's pretty
they're
cool.
all, yeah. I have some friends in Mississippi, and I coach almost all of the little group of guys and the his wife at one time, Krista. But like my client Levi, my big boy, he's like 6'8", like 360.
Whew.
Yeah, he got his pro card last nationals. So he's from Mississippi too. So I got some buddies over there. So it's just we all go down there, and like his wife Becca competed, I think 3 months after she gave birth to their daughter and won. And then she just got her pro card at nationals, I think a year after she gave birth.
Dang.
But she's like 6'1". I mean, they're huge.
That's a big family.
Yeah. And then it's funny because her daughter, we call her Big Sue because she is a chunk. she's
Sue.
like 1 and she's like 25 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, she's massive.
Yeah. They need to start a division for the baby already.
Babies. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But we go down there and hang out with them. Like I remember one time we went to the casino down there, and it was Cam and Krista, then Levi and Becca. And Cam's like 6'3". His wife's like 6'2", I think, or 6'1". They're all tall. So me and Thomas are like little compared to them.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
Oh, okay.
And Thomas is like 6 foot flat. So like we were all in the casino, and like we were all walking together, and everybody's just like, and like me and Thomas were like, we don't like feeling small. Like we didn't like it.
Welcome to Strongman.
Yeah, I'm like, God. But it's cool. Like they're a good group of guys and girls. So
that's good. My best friend, he's 6'10". So anytime we go out, like he gets asked a million times, like, hey, how tall are you? Blah, blah, blah. And then if we've gone out drinking, the later the night goes, the more we like to mess with people when they ask him that, especially if it's a guy, because they'll be like, "Hey, how tall are you?" And he'll tell them like, "Oh, I'm 6'5".
Yeah.
And then they're like, "No, you're not, because you're buddy." And then they'll point at me. He's at least 6 foot. I'm like, "No, man, I'm 5'9". And you can just see them like are crushed by the idea that they're not as tall as they actually are. So I got a quick question for you on the mill thing. I think it's pretty cool that they do like that yellow hat thing for the first 6 months, and then the green thing. Have you ever put a competition together?
No, I've helped people like pick out like events, and I've helped people like pick out weights, but I've never actually like promoted or put on a show. No, I've never had the time.
That's true. You do keep pretty busy, and it sounds like with that job, it's pretty like I'm guessing that's like a 60-hour a week job.
So we work 4 on, 4 off, and it's 12s, but we're swing shift. So like I'll work 4 days, all 4 days, then 4 nights, then all 4 days, work 4 days, back to nights. So you're constantly swapping nights today. So it's just like that in between forced overtime. I mean, some weeks is 48 hours, some weeks is 60, some weeks is 72. And then it just depends. There's overtime that you can either sign up for or you're forced to work. And then my family's back home in Louisiana. So some off turns we go to Louisiana. And then we like to travel. We have Highland games and we're going back to Scotland. And it's just, I'm busy.
I think if you ever did do a competition, I think that'd be a cool trophy where you had like a yellow helmet for the novice competition and then like a pretty cool green one. I think that'd be pretty cool.
We talked about wanting to put a manhood stone at work and being like, if you can't lift it, you can't be like in leadership.
Have you seen that meme where it's like what is it? If I can outlift my boss, then he can't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. So real quick question. How did you go about becoming the owner of a Hippo?
Oh, Hippo. As soon as you said Hippo, I looked at him and his eye popped up on the couch. He's listening. I got the Hippo 10 years ago. He'll turn 11 in October. We got him from a guy in Florida. And I found him online and I paid a pretty penny for the Hippo. And I got him at 10 weeks and he has been a house Hippo ever since.
I love that. By the way, the Hippo is Maxwell, right? Maxwell, a great pity.
Yeah.
I love all the pictures. Did you ever find out if he actually likes the Christmas sweater or not?
I think he just deals with it because I put him.
You're like, you lucky you feed me and give me a home and let me sleep on the bed. Who do you spoil more, Maxwell or Thomas?
Yeah.
You had to pause and think about it.
Monetarily, I mean, obviously Thomas, but like the Hippo gets a lot of loving, but I don't know. I mean, definitely Thomas. I mean, because he's a human, but the Hippo is very spoiled. And it's funny because like, I sleep on the left side of the bed, Thomas sleeps on the right, and every night Max gets on the right side of the bed in Thomas's spot. And unless I make him move, he'll stay. And Thomas will have to be like, get out of my spot. You know what you're doing. And he's just like, and he'll like scurry along. But every night he gets on that side of the bed. He knows he's got to move, but he gets there and he's just like, It's a game.
Like, how long can I test this? How long is he willing to fight for this? Can we get a quick shot of Maxwell?
Yeah, let's see. My little Hippo.
Oh my goodness.
Say hello.
Such a cutie.
He's
I love their nicknames, Land Seal. Huh?
Yeah. I said he's laying on the Xbox controller.
Do you play games?
Yeah, me and Thomas got bored the other day and I pulled my Xbox out of the attic and he
was in the attic.
Well,
you're busy. Yeah, you're busy.
I mean, to be honest, it's like during the 4 days that we work, we don't watch, the TV doesn't come on. So we only watch TV on our off days because we live 45 minutes from work. So by the time, like for those 4 days, honestly, I get up, I get dressed, I get our lunch boxes together, I get Thomas out of bed, get him all ready, get some breakfast going. And like the breakfast is like a shake. We run out the door, we drive 45 minutes, we work 12 hours, we drive 45 minutes back home. We hurry up, train for about an hour if we have to train, then it's shower, eat, get things ready for the next day, go to bed. So, I mean, it's just like 4 days. Yes, I have a gym garage.
Good. What state are you in? Sorry, I forgot to ask that.
Alabama.
Alabama. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
So anyway, he wanted to get his Tiger Woods golf game, and I've never played Tiger Woods golf, and he just destroyed me. And he's like, I thought you'd be better at games. And I'm like, well, I don't play golf. So we got out Halo and we played like team and we beat the
Yeah.
game in like a couple hours. He's like, okay, you redeemed yourself. And I'm like, thanks.
It's not like you have like what is it? First place at Strongman Corp Nationals, first at Arnold Amateur Pro. Because you've podiumed almost every event. I think I've only seen is it 2 big I think out of the 6 international competitions you've had, I think 2 of them you haven't podiumed.
I didn't podium last Arnold because I got hurt. I bust my knee up.
And that same right knee?
No, that was my left. I had issues in both of them.
From soccer?
Honestly, no. What started all my knee issues was James Deffenbaugh putting a 6'7" and 800-pound yoke medley in the Arnold Pro 3 years ago. And I hope he hears this.
I'll tag him.
I had no knee issues till you did that. But whatever. Did that, and honestly, that started my knee issues, was training for that stupid yoke. My right knee, the whole time when I was in 800 pounds, I just felt like my knee was like this the whole time, and I was just waiting for it to just go, because it stayed swollen up for like 3 weeks after.
Woo.
So then that started my knee issues on my right. So then when I started training again for Arnold the next year, obviously I'm compensating on my left for my right.
Yep.
And then on log, I was going for that 4th rep and my left knee popped. And I was in pretty bad shape. And then I shot up some lidocaine in my knee for frame. That's the only reason I was able to do frame.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad.
But it sounds like you're coming in pretty healthy this time. Well, as healthy as you can be after a prep, you know what I mean?
So I got PRP in both patella tendons in June.
What's PRP? I'm sorry.
Platelet-rich plasma. So they draw your blood and they put in a centrifuge, and I don't know what they mix it with, but I had patella tendonitis so bad that I thought like my kneecaps were just going to shoot off the bone. Like stairs, I couldn't go upstairs hardly at all. Going downstairs, I thought I was going to blow my knee. Getting out of a chair, it was awful. Went to Baltimore, got that done. Honestly, that was a godsend. That cured my patella tendonitis 100%. But now I'm just dealing with no cartilage in my right knee and like a 6x6 inch space. In my left knee, what cartilage I do have left is squashed hard. And then it's eroding away, and then I have synovitis, which means your synovial joint fluid gets inflamed, and your knee swells up. So it's just I have a lot of knee issues. So I started working with a physio out of California. That's Martine's physio. He hooked me up with her, and I've gotten a lot of relief. But we've had to do this prep completely different as far as how much we could load, how often we could load, intensity, frequency, and things of that nature. And honestly, I haven't ran frame in about 5 weeks because frame was just crushing it. I've done, I'll sit there. We did a lot of pick and holds for time, just to make sure I could hold the weight, but I haven't ran frame in 5 weeks.
But it sounds like you're still like you've done enough where you can do the event. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's just you got to go in healthy.
Yes. I see too many people try to what was it? I asked Ken, and it's one of the questions I want to ask everybody now. Are strongman athletes too tough for their own good?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. But that's been my philosophy is like, I can push through prep hard and bust my knees up and show up at 75%. Or I can train around things, maybe not train certain things as often as I should, but at least feel like 100% because the strength is there, But it's just, if you can go in at 95%, you're going to have a better opportunity to do well compared to going in at 75 just because you had to go hard during prep. So
I think it's the same logic when you're dealing with weight classes, because I've emceed some bigger competitions where the guys that I've seen, or some of the women, drop down to that 82 kilo class or the 105, and it's like, great, you made weight, but what percentage are you at? Like, is it below if you would have just, gone maybe to the 91 kilo class or something? So it's like you said earlier, there's a balancing act between how hard you can push it and still be healthy. What's the weirdest place you've trained? Because I was looking through your social media, and I feel like there's warehouses, there's random streets. It's been in the dark. So I'm guessing you get off of work late. Is that why?
Yeah. So back in 19? I worked in a gym in Louisiana. I got to have all my gym equipment in there. I got to work out in a nice AC controlled environment. Awesome. And then the gym owner and my boss just stopped paying rent. We all got evicted. And we all got fired. So that was cool.
Oh, wow.
So I had to move all my equipment out in a week. So I had my house back home in Louisiana. I had a little bitty garage, I guess you could call it, but it was too short to press in.
Oh no.
So I could deadlift and I could do, my accessories and squat and stuff down in there, but then I had to press outside. But sometimes I got home late from my job at work and I had to press, so I had to back my Jeep up the driveway and put my Jeep lights on and just press in the dark. I've had to press in the rain before because it was raining all week and I just had to get it done, so I just pressed in the rain. And then
I saw you do I think it was what is it, a sandbag or some kind of throw event where you kind of had this, it was for a Highland Games thing where you were doing a spin in the rain, and that was impressive.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's just like you just do what you got to do. And my driveway back home that I prepped for 2020 nationals, I think it was, or 2019 nationals, my driveway was poured in sections, and one section was low and then the next section was almost an inch high. Then that section was low. So I was having to carry my yoke and watch where I was stepping at the same time to step up, adjust for the tilt, then also step down and adjust for the tilt. And I'm like, man, I can't wait to be on a competition floor where it's just flat. And
I bet you flew at the competition.
Oh yeah.
I bet you flew. It's like, I don't have to worry about anything. What are some national parks that are still on your bucket list? Because I saw you've been to Yellowstone. What's the other one? It's Teton.
The Grand Tetons.
Yeah, that one. So what's still on your bucket list for national parks?
So this will probably sound crazy, but me and Thomas are trying to attack all the countries overseas before we won't be able to travel overseas, because that's going to stop one day, because I'm sure the government control is going to be like, you have too many carbon emissions, and just how they shut
the social credit thing, right? Is that what you're referencing?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I mean, during COVID, if you weren't vaxxed, you couldn't travel anywhere. So they've already shut it down once. They're going to shut it down again. It's just a matter of time. So, and maybe not. Maybe that's just me being how I am. But we're trying to attack everything overseas first, and then we'll just attack the U.S. later. But I mean, as far as overseas, this year we're going back to Scotland. We're going to the U.K. because of Arnold. Then next year, I think we're going to try to go to Iceland and Basque Country in Spain. I mean, we still want to go to Greece and Italy.
Oh, Greece, yes.
We want to go to Ireland. We'd love to go to Thailand. But I mean, it's just we honestly, we were going to go on a trip to Greece and Italy 2 years ago. I found some cheap flights, but work was like, oh, we're about to not have any still, because we're paid on a production bonus. So if we don't run still, we don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I kind of looked at Thomas and I was like, maybe we shouldn't go and spend all this money when we don't know how much money we're not going to make for how long. And because the way they were talking, they think it was going to be the whole Q4. And so we decided not to go. And then it wasn't even the whole Q4, and we should have went anyway, because it was a super cheap trip, but whatever.
You're not bitter about it, right?
Well, no, I mean, I found round trip tickets for like $600,
Yeah.
and
Do
it's
you
like I
use
found.
those apps like Going or what's the other one? It's like the one with the rabbit logo.
No, honestly, I just play around on Google Flights, and when I'm at work on nights to try to like keep myself awake sometimes, I'll just like piddle around and look at flights and days and look at my calendar. Like one time I found round trip tickets to Aruba for like $200.
Wow.
And I'm like, Thomas, we could go to Aruba. And he's like, we could, but it's like, it's
He's
just
like, I
like,
can't argue $200 round trip.
yeah, and it's just like, and everything like the rental cars in Greece were super cheap. I think it was like $11 a day.
Yep.
And then we found like round trip tickets from like Greece to Italy for like $77. And I was just like,
It's
golly,
just getting to Europe. That's all it, or across
yeah,
the pond. It's just about getting
yeah.
across the pond, and then everything's usually pretty cheap.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and it's like, the only thing holding us back from going over there more is just vacation time. Like, it's just that's whatever. And what's so frustrating? There's people at work that don't take vacation time and they build it up and they have 8 weeks of vacation time and they don't use it.
Do they lose it, or can they get it paid out?
So they can get it paid out. So like you get 4 weeks once you're there 10 years, you get 4 weeks vacation, which for us it's only 4 days is a week because we work 4 days for the week. So, but the thing about us is if you take 4 days vacation, you're off 12 days. So that's why we get to go to Europe for like 10 days at a time because we're only using 4 days of vacation.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah, it is nice. But that's the thing. It's like we try to keep 1 week in reserve to roll over in case like a competition comes up or if we want to go like on a last minute just vacation or something. So we roll like a week each year. But some of these guys, you can only roll what you get. So like you get 4 every year. And if they rolled 4 from last year, you keep 8. But if they don't use those 8, the next year it's 12, they're going to lose 4. So they'll sell 4. Then the next year they get 4, they got back to 8. But like
Yeah.
they just don't go anywhere. And I'm like, can I have your vacation? Like,
Can I buy your
yeah,
PTO?
yeah. So I mean, it's just, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, we use our vacation, and that's another reason why I don't compete as often as other people is because essentially half the year or half the weekends of the year I work. So like OSG and stuff, like the past 3 years, I'd have to use all 4 days of vacation to go to OSG. And to me, I just I have my vacation valued higher than using 4 days for OSG, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
makes
And
100%
it's like,
sense.
I've told Lynn that, and he understands. And it's like if it ever got to a point where I would only have to use 1 day or no days, then I would consider it. But it's just like go to OSG and use 4 days of vacation, or use 4 days of vacation and go to Scotland. You
Scotland.
know, you know what I mean? It's just like so. It's just and I miss out on a lot of stuff. I miss out on a lot of cool competitions. I miss out on real life stuff, weddings, things of that nature. But I mean, it is what it is. It's just life.
All right, so you coach athletes too. What would you
Mhm.
rather have? Your athlete podium or you podium at your own event?
Me podium.
All right.
Well,
Hey, different. Go ahead.
I'm more reliable. I can't control my athlete. I can give them all the tools and the trade, and if they listen to me, so be it. But like, I do what I need to do. Sometimes my athletes don't do what I tell them to do, and I fuss at them.
Yeah. All right. What would be your intro song at a competition if they allowed an intro song every time you did an event, like WWE
Oh,
style?
oh man, I don't even know. There's so many good ones.
What's the first one that
Uh,
popped in your head? I know that there's one that popped in your head right away.
it's funny. So Evan Singleton and me and him are buddies, and the first
Oh,
time
I
that I
just met
went,
him for the first time. He's hilarious.
yeah. So he's very much in that like grungy, like yelling rock, like hard metal, like raw stuff. And when he trains, and like 2 years ago, I went up there to train with him, and I was going for like my top set, and I was like, "Can I control the music?" And they're like, "Oh, what do you want? I have all these bands." I'm like, "None of those." And he's like, gives me the phone, and I like type in because I listen to like rave music. So I put on like rave music, and he was like, "This is what you listen to when you train?" He was so like turned off. He was just like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then Thomas goes, "You get used to it." Like,
Tom is such a good guy. So supportive.
so like this year when we peaked, it was me, Olga, and Evan all training together, and we, if it was my turn, I turned the music on what I want to listen to, and then if it was Evan's turn, he turned it, and then Olga, Ukrainian Olga's listen to whatever it is that she listens to. So there was like three different genres of music just rotating in a pattern as all of us went the whole like 4 hours we were there. I'm sure the whole gym was like, I'm gonna beat my brain in because it was just like super.
At least they have a
hardcore.
good beat to do it to.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I don't know. I'm really bad at song titles. I'd have to Google it. But there's this one song probably called like, I think it's called Rhyme Dust. I don't even know who sings it. I like that song. There's one that I like. It's called, I think it's called Tiptoe, but it's by Riff Raff.
MK and Dom Dalla for Rhyme Dust?
I don't know. Let's see. Well, oh crap. Can you later?
It's okay. Go for it.
Whatever. I don't know. I'd have to Google it. I'm really bad at that. I don't
It's
know.
okay.
I have a playlist on my phone that's just called Swamp Music, and it's all of my rave music that I listen to.
All right. So 3 more questions, and we'll wrap this up because I know you're still carb loading and getting ready, and I don't want to take too much of your time. Again, thank you so much for jumping on. What do you do for your mental health?
It depends what kind of mood I'm in. Honestly, like Thomas is really good. Like when I get like pissed about stuff and I want to complain about something and bitch about something, he's really good about like hyping me up and bitching with me. And I
love that. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and I really enjoy that because like my mama, I'll call her to bitch about something, and mama's always trying to like be mama and fix stuff. And I'm like, I'm not calling you to fix stuff. I'm calling you to just like rage with me. And she's just like, yeah. And she's just not like that, And
yeah.
So it's like, so Thomas is great. Like me and him are so much alike, but yet so different. But like if I'm like in a mood or I get, mad about something, he like hypes me up and just rages with me. Or versus like if I'm in the gym and things like I had a lot of problems this prep, and I probably threw more fits during this prep than I've done all of my preps together. And Thomas just goes, just get stronger. Like, I don't know what you're doing. Like,
yeah.
And he's so just like, he says that I'm like, what do you think I'm doing? Like, and he's just like, I don't know. Are you trying? And I'm like, yes, I'm 1000% trying. So, I mean, just having a good support system. I lean on Thomas for a lot of stuff. He grounds me a lot.
So that's my next question. Who makes up your support group? Yeah, go ahead.
So Thomas, first off, Big Daddy Mel Peacock, her, she's like me and her are very much alike, but yet so different too. But I reached to her. She's been through with me. She helped me when I was going through a divorce. We've been friends for a long time, but I mean, she knows the ins and outs of everything that's going on. She's been there, and I've been there for her. So I mean, her,
have you seen
Leifa,
that?
of course.
Who?
Leifa, my coach.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Who? What do you say? You seen what?
I was gonna say, Melissa sounds like that meme where it says, "Some of you I've been friends for years, but some of you I've been friends for so long that y'all know too much to get rid of."
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So her, and then my family. I have a really good family. My mom, my dad, my brother, my grandparents, and it's so funny. Like I come from a super competitive family. Like Trey, my brother, he's 2.5 years older than me. I FaceTimed him not too long ago, and he was like, I'm going to watch you at Arnold. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, I mean, are you going to win? And I'm like, well, I mean, Trey, I'm going to try. And he's like, well, I'm tired of watching you like not win. So can you like get it together? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, Trey, I'm going to try. And he's just like, well, are you going to lose to Mel again? And I'm like, well, I got hurt last year, so that doesn't count. And I was like, but these are good events for her. He's like, yeah, but I don't care. And I'm like, whatever. And then
siblings.
So I'll tell you this. So at Clash, when I didn't lift the whatever stone it was for the world record. I got home. My grandpa was like, I was going to invite people over to like watch you, but then I thought, if she doesn't get it, I'm going to be really embarrassed. So I'm not going to invite anybody over. And then you didn't get it. So I'm glad that I didn't invite anybody over.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's the thing, like, like whenever I was an amateur and I placed second at the Arnold Amateur, then fourth at the Arnold Amateur, I went home to my other grandpa. And the first year when I got second, he was like, well, if you'd have just picked it up and not bobbled it, you would have won. And I'm like, I'm aware. And he's like, well, you lost. And I'm like, yes, Papa, like, I know. And then the second year when I got fourth, because that was like when main stage was just top 4. You compete over 2 days, you go to main stage. And he's like, I was really disappointed that you placed 4 of 4. And I was like, well, Papa, I placed 4 of like 30 something. He goes, well, no, you didn't, because day 3 was just 4 and you got last. And I'm like, yes, I did.
You're technically right.
Yeah. Well, then this is the thing. So like, this is funny. So last year I had a horrible go at the Wheel of Pain, and I was very embarrassed about it. Just, it didn't go right. Warm up the day before, it went great with equipment testing. It just didn't go. I ended up seeing the video and I was too high, but whatever. Things happen. You move on. I come off the floor raging, and my mama goes, I'm really proud of you. I can tell you've grown because you didn't throw a fit on stage. And I said, well, yeah, because there's cameras everywhere, Mom. And she's like, I know, but I just know in your head you were like raging. I'm like, yeah, I was. And then Dad goes, well, hell, Hannah, Mom could have went out there and got last. And I'm like, you are correct. Once again, yes, Dad, yes. So that's that's the family I grew up in. It's like, we expect the best, and if you don't, we're gonna we're gonna support you, but we're gonna just jug you a little bit with this knife in your side and let you know that you didn't win.
Yeah, no, I love that.
That's the family I grew up in. Yeah.
No, I love that. All right, so you have a choice in the last 2 questions. Tell me the origins of your username, Swampy Swamps, or tell me, would you rather have another world record or a podium finish at the Arnold?
I would rather have a podium finish at the Arnold.
Okay.
I can always do a world record, but you don't know how many times you'll get invited back to Arnold.
Okay, what world record would you go for next?
I want another stab at the Atlas Dome.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's what I would want, because the thing is like, you can't control invites, but you can always work towards a goal, set up a contest to get a world record attempts. I mean, so I would like the podium. That's kind of the goal.
I like how you you always analyze and then break everything down and then like choose the most logical. I can always see it kind of like running, and it fits you perfectly with the job that you do. But anyways, Hannah, thank you so much. This is a little bit more time than I was even expecting. Good luck this weekend. I hope you accomplish all your goals, you hit some PRs, and you come out healthy.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.